Previously, he arrives home and reunites with his sister, then opens his cores and regains his strength. Soon after, the Tang leader summons him, where he uncovers the poison secretly destroying the family. Now to the next chapter. Memories of his past come back. We see the protagonist reaching out to stop his uncle, questioning if he's really going to go independent and wanting to know the reason behind such actions. His uncle turns back with a cold look and comments that what he said is correct. That's what he'll be doing. The protagonist, worried and trying to understand, questions his uncle about what will happen if he leaves the Tang clan with the escort agency. His uncle pushes his hand back, commenting that is part of the reason he's leaving. But the protagonist is still confused and questions why he would do something like this, knowing the clan will fall. His uncle comments he wouldn't understand. His father, years ago, stole the head clan position from him. He's waited a very long time for this to happen. With a greedy and sinister smile, he laughs, commenting that when that happens, the clan will belong to him. The protagonist thinks about the sacrifices he made back then. How he forced himself to learn around 50% of the strengthening art and learned the skill of creating divine artifacts. Getting more annoyed, he knows that if he hadn't done that, the clan would have been crushed with no money coming in and would have been wiped out before the demonic people invaded. Just then, a hand slams on the table, getting everyone's attention. This is Tang Jun, the medicine hall master. He comments the chief escort's words are too disrespectful to the young clan leader. He states that anyone who has gone to the law enforcement hall has never returned, and questions if he wants to send the protagonist to such a place. It should never happen. But the chief escort states he feels the same as Jun. He gets up and states this is the only way for the Tang clan to survive this situation. He turns to his right and questions that person. If things went bad, would anyone be willing to join them? We see it's Sun Gaon, chief steward of the inn. The chief escort continues, stating if no one comes, do they have the strength to stop them from coming? People on the other side of the hall start to agree. One comments he's right. No one is going to side with them, and when the alliance leader arrives, everyone will be wiped out. Hearing this, the protagonist sees the disruption in the clan caused by Tang Hoyol, the chief escort. He hears the rest of them and sees that confidence in the people around him doesn't exist. Everyone's too scared. He knows this is the second heavy poison. He knows in his previous life, he would have acted the same way as most people in this room. But things are different now. Those who treat his clan with respect will receive kindness. Those who have ill intentions will receive no mercy and will be dealt with instantly. Just then, the chief escort, thinking he's created doubt in the room, moves to ask the question that will send the protagonist away. He questions how he was able to defeat the Muram Alliance leader's newest disciple. Wanting to create more doubt, he questions if he had used demonic arts as he smiles. The protagonist is annoyed and thinks he will pay him back soon. Just wait. Then he answers, wrong. He states that's the wrong thing he should be asking him. Feeling disrespected, the chief escort lets out his fighting aura, stating it's not a time to be joking. He doesn't care how he was able to defeat Lee. The chief escort knows the protagonist is weak, and his aura will easily crush him. But something is wrong. He looks closer and sees the protagonist is fine, as the protagonist glares at him. He doesn't understand how he's able to withstand his aura. But then the clan head calls out, ordering everyone to sit down. Then he questions the protagonist himself, asking why he had to fight Li Hoxiang. The protagonist smiles and comments he will explain himself without leaving a single detail. Moments later, the chief escort is screaming, commenting he had a life and death duel with Li over such a small matter. The protagonist confirms that is correct. The chief escort continues, questioning what sort of explanation is that. But he states that is his reason. The chief escort continues, stating his actions put Seol in danger. He demands to know why he would be so shameless. But the protagonist questions what the chief escort thinks the Tang clan's purpose is to him. But the chief does not understand what that has to do with this. But the protagonist states that in his eyes, the Tang clan of Sichuan is a clan where every member of the house is part of a system that creates and improves their family. No matter what kind of trouble may come for them, the members of the clan must protect one another with their lives. One onlooker recognizes these words. They have great importance. They were the previous clan head's last words. The protagonist continues, stating that if it is to protect any member's blood, the clan members do not hesitate to give up their life itself. That is what the Tang clan of Sichuan is. His father is surprised to hear those words. Others are feeling the same. He continues and questions the chief escort on what the problem is. He then questions the chief escort, stating he should have done nothing but watch Seol get violated by that group. Now the chief escort is angry. He ignores the question and states his questions are not over yet. He states the protagonist is still under suspicion of using demonic arts, but the protagonist comments he used this as a weapon and hits the ground with it. Everyone looks on. One comments it's just a practice dagger. But the chief escort questions if he really used this weapon. He questions how he was able to defeat a first-rate martial artist like Lee. He comments he used his lower innate core energy. Everyone talks amongst themselves, understanding this energy has a cost and makes the user ill. One starts to see how Lee was punished, while another person tells them to watch their words. Another comments he used the previous clan head's words. Then the protagonist speaks up and firmly looks at the chief escort. He questions if he has settled any doubt he had. This leaves him angry, but speechless. Another person thinks, after seeing the protagonist, that he really must have defeated Lee in a life-and-death fight. But then he questions if he truly used his lower core. His lower core seems stable and normal when he arrived back home. The protagonist then explains the Alliance leader and the Divine Physician were also there, and she examined his body at that time. The chief escort screamed out in anger, stating the protagonist is lying. Why would such people want to help? But before he could finish, a person opened the doors to the room, screaming for the clan head. He states there is a huge problem and starts to say, but it's too late. The golden stream flows in the air. Everyone is now in shock as a hand lands on the protagonist's shoulder. Just as the person at the door screams, the Alliance leader has arrived, the Alliance leader questions how the protagonist is doing. Everyone gets up to greet the Alliance leader. The clan head shows his respect and introduces himself to the Alliance leader. He apologizes for not going to greet him at the door, but the Alliance leader comments, "It's fine. He didn't let them know he was coming." The clan head thanks him for accepting his apology and states he will not make an issue out of his discourtesy of showing up without proper notice. Everyone's shocked to hear those words. The chief escort has heard enough. He questions the clan head on his words. This is the Alliance leader. How could he be rude? But this action catches the eyes of the Alliance leader himself. He carries on and introduces himself as the chief escort, Tang Hoyol, and goes to show respect. But the Alliance leader interrupts him, looks at him, and releases his aura, asking him not to join in on this conversation. The chief escort bows his head in fear and apologizes. Then the protagonist greets the Alliance leader and comments it is difficult for him to offer tea during this situation. The Alliance leader states it was fine. He too did not act in a proper manner when he arrived. He then looks forward and gets the attention of all the Tang clan members. He shows respect to everyone present. They're all shocked that the head of the martial world is showing such respect as he offers his sincere apologies on behalf of the Murim Alliance. He states he should have disciplined his disciple more and raised him better. Lee's faults are also his master's fault. To make up for what Lee did, he is willing to pay the Tang clan sufficient compensation. But the Tang head states the Tang clan has done nothing. This was all done alone by the protagonist. He acted alone. This shocks the protagonist. He continues that they cannot accept any compensation. But then he shows respect and begs the Alliance leader that this incident is not twisted from the truth. He hopes the Alliance will make sure it remains the truth. The protagonist thinks about Lee's family. They will most likely spread rumors to cover their shame. But he understands this time that family's anger will be pointing toward him and not his clan. With a firm voice, the Alliance leader speaks up and states the Tang clan has nothing to fear with what has happened today. Lee's family, the Qingcheng sect, will not be able to hold the Tang clan responsible for anything. The protagonist knows this is a good thing for his clan. He's caused the Qingcheng sect to lose face. Shame on the family due to Lee's actions. He knows this event will restore some of his father's reputation. Just then, the Alliance leader states there is one more thing he came for. He looks at the protagonist and stares with a serious look. Then he asks if the protagonist will become one of his disciples. This shocks the room. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and like. It really helps me out.